What's up, guys? Nick the Trainer here. Welcome back to a YouTube video. It's been a minute. We're here with Miss Jessica Whitman. We are going to put you guys, or take you guys through a leg day. We're going to be training her, going through positioning, form cues, principles for training, etc., etc. Jess is definitely one of the harder working athletes in the gym anytime she walks in, so I'm pretty excited for you guys to kind of see that come out and see how we train. You got any last words?
You're about to witness my death, so if I die during this, I just want to say, Mom, I love you. Thanks for everything you've done for me.
Look, we're not gonna go like out of our way to make this workout be like 5 times more intense than what an actual training session is. Like, Jess trains hard, she's a good athlete. It's not gonna be anything that she's not used to doing. We're just gonna put her through the ringer per usual and film it for your viewing pleasure. Nothing fancy. So we're gonna have her start here. We're just gonna do 2 sets, 10 to 15 reps dumbbell deadlifts. This is purely to warm up her hamstrings, get some blood into the hips, and kind of just, you know, dust the cobwebs off a little bit, you know? Now, while she's doing these, I want to talk about a couple things that I see people always do wrong. Okay, so one of the main things I see people do wrong is when they start doing the dumbbell deadlifts, they start with their knees slightly bent, right? And that's great, but we want to keep that angle consistent. What I see too many people do is as they come down, they bend the knees more, like this, right? So now there's a bend in the knees, and now they're standing up and then hinging the hips. Instead of keeping that knee bend consistent and then just focusing on those hips pushing back. So now I'm in more of a stretch position as before I was in more of a squat position. So I'm staying here, my hips are hinging back behind me. Once my hips stop traveling backwards, that's the bottom of my movement. Now for me, my dumbbells come right below my knees, nothing past that. Now I'm flexible enough to go all the way down, but the movement starts to come from my lower back. Our goal here is to keep the hinge on the hips and the tension on the hamstrings. No pressure. You're just trying to get blood in the muscle. If you need to hang out at the bottom for a second, do it. Always notice her butt traveling back and then forward, back and then forward. There is no lowering past that hip hinge motion. Also, just so you guys know, the full outfit of Jess in this is Impact. You can pick it up in the description box below. I believe both of these are still in stock. So Jess is currently peak of her off season here. We've been building for what? Since December. So, well, for the last like 3 months of her prep, we essentially just fed her more the entire time and grew into her last show. She got top 2 at Amateur Olympia, just missed that pro card. So we've been growing. I'd say we've been increasing food / growing for 7, 8 months. Yeah. And really her food hasn't changed much since January. Yeah, we pretty much just have held her steady. I think a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of coaches, but a lot of people in general just focus on like driving food as high as they possibly can, thinking that correlates to growth. And I used to be the same way when I first started out, but it's just a lot of load on the digestive system, the gastrointestinal system, the pancreas, and just the athlete in general. You know, Jess has been pretty much stuck at 300 carb, 70 fat for quite some time, and we actually just pulled her food down a little bit this last week, and she's like, "Wow, I feel
so much better."
Yeah. So a little bit less lethargy than when we're pushing a ton of food, and that's kind of the main negativity I see when people push their food like astronomically high. Is they're just like sluggish and weighed down by their food the whole time. So we're here for performance. All right. I would just step into this and then get in position and then hook it, get into position and stand up. Yeah, and then that should be fine. Once you pick it up, that should just fall back anyways. That's just to pull forward the racket. Yeah, so we're gonna have her stand into position first. Then we'll hook it on this one right here, get into position, and then we'll stand up with the weight. Good, stand up. You're good, you're good. Then you'll just pull it towards you when you rack it. So Jess is very rarely, or if ever, pitch starts before, so we're just letting her fill it out right now before we really get into it. That's it, right there.
I almost want to put my feet further in front of me. Is that good or bad?
It's wherever. I mean, if you look here, we've got 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So really, we'll figure out where the best place to host for you. We'll stay here until we find it, and then we'll start your working set. So why don't we push them a little bit further up?
Yeah.
Come on, you're a bodybuilder. Yeah. Try that. Let's just see how it feels. That looks pretty good to me. How's that feel?
It feels a lot better.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good?
That's a good position.
All right, perfect. So we're also going to count those as 2 warm-up sets. Another big thing that I see people messing up, or I don't want to say messing up on, but things that you could be doing more optimally is probably taking more time in your warm-up sets and your acclimation sets. And instead of just slapping on 8 plates on each side, going after it, then all your joints hurt, and you don't even feel it in the muscle group that you're working, right? Just like everything, get warmed up, get the hips warmed up, get blood in there, establish that mind-muscle connection, and then we'll get after it. Yep, one more. Perfect.
Oh, my.
Good set.
That's heavier than I thought.
Good, keep it controlled. Great. 5, 3 more. Attack these now. 12, 2. Come on, come on. One more. One more. Up, up, up. Alright, 15. We only took 1 plate off. This is going to be a hell of a set. But one thing I want you guys to notice on Jess while she's doing all of these is there is no fast motion here. Right? Everything is extremely controlled the entire time. She's making those muscles work. She's not bouncing out of the bottom. She's not bouncing at the top. The whole time, there's not a single second that her muscles are not working to control this weight. Which means this weight, she's getting the absolute most she can out of this set for growth. Atta girl, come on. Yeah, call it up top. Push. Bulgarian split squats is next. We're only going to do 2 sets here. 2 sets on each leg. So for me, because I have OCD, I'll usually start my right leg first. So I'll do right leg, take like 30 seconds, then I'll do left leg, and then my next set, I'll do left leg first, and then right leg. I understand there's more than one way to do these, so everybody please relax. How we're trying to do these for this movement. I prefer the foot to rest on the back of the bench. Some people don't like that, so if you want to put the toe up, that's fine. It's whatever feels more comfortable for you. But what I don't want to see is the knee fighting for real estate this way on the way down, right? Breaking forward this way. I don't want that to happen. So we're gonna get this front foot a little bit further out. And my goal here, I'm gonna keep the chest nice and tall. My goal here is for these hips to drop down and back. Right, you can see what's happening here. I got a nice stretch in my glutes on this, and then I'm gonna pull through with the glutes. 1. Right here. 2. 3. As opposed to this foot being closer, and me doing this here. Now I've got more knee flexion, I'm pushing up my toe, it's dominant quad. If you want dominant quad, you can do it that way. That's not our focus for this movement right now. Athleticism. tells me you've been selling yourself short on your other sets. What's going on here? Is that 15? 16? Do 16 on the other side. I mean, the reps were supposed to be 12, right? Jess usually does, in her current programming, she usually does split squats later on in the workout after her legs are more fatigued. So she's doing it a little early this time. Mid-set, she realized, wow, I'm a lot stronger than this, and this isn't really that hard for 12. So instead of 12, she pushed all the way to 16 because that was the fatigue point she would have been wanting to reach anyway. Instead of just saying, well, I'm at 12, I'm done, and then wasting a set. Don't waste a set. So while we're here, let's pick the brain of Jess. What would you say, just you as a competitor, what's the most beneficial piece of knowledge or lesson you've learned since starting your competition career to where you are now?
Oh boy. You can do way more than you think, and it's really important to have someone who sees that when you do not, because you will never know your full potential. You need to have someone who can see that full potential and push you to get there, because you'll never know your limits, because that's the definition of a limit. So you need someone who can see past that. That would be my number one piece of advice. Support system. At Coach Nick. Sending inquiries. That would do it.
Yes, last year, typically, before COVID, it was like you had to place top 2 in your show to qualify for nationals. But for us, it's like if you don't win your class and then either win the overall or just lose the overall, you shouldn't be in nationals. Jess got 4th. Jess got 4th place at a regional show 3 times in a row, and she still technically qualified. But after that one, it was just we knew it was BS calls for whatever reason. Like, it's the sport, but I knew that she was going to do great at nationals, so I pushed her through and literally went, what, 5 national shows for your season? First call-outs in every single show, medaled in 2 of them, and worked her way up to top 2 at Amateur Olympia for her last show. So sometimes there's a little golden nugget in there, you know, sometimes, but it's not you. You ever touched this way before on these? Nope. Perfect. We're going for 10. If she can get 10, she's going for 12. Easy money, let's go. 6, 7, 8, 12's there. One more. Don't give up. Come on. Integrity first. Nice. We're gonna give her a second before she does her other leg. That's a hell of a PR. Yeah, take a second. Fire away. Come on. Don't you stop. Come on. 9, 2, 1. All the way up. Finish it. Finish through. Great set, kiddo. Great freaking set.
Definitely really good.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're here at Outplay Gym with Nick the trainer, with Jess, with Coach Chad Morgan. Honestly, the only thing I gotta say today is I hope you're
all right, guys. That's Chad. Back to the video. The lion one? Yeah. I don't like that one. It's curved like this because the weight support's over here, so the thing bends over time.
I actually know. Is that why it's so hard to adjust it?
Probably. Yeah. If you guys have hamstring curls where the weight load is in the middle, far superior, because the ones where the pad is out and the weight load's on one side, the pad will always start to bend. Yeah, you should start using it. Same thing. Not bouncing out of the bottom. Not throwing it so hard at the top that the machine comes off of her legs, then she has to re-catch it. There's not a single ounce of this motion where these hamstrings are not moving that weight. It is fully in control by Jess's hamstrings and no other variables. That's what we want always. So we're going 3 sets of 12 here. That's our threshold that we're going for. You guys notice her feet back here. Her feet are not flexed and very tense. Her feet are pointed and relaxed, which is going to take the calves out of it a very good amount. It's going to put even more pressure on the hamstrings. But once she starts fatiguing this way, then we can go into the flexed feet. On the next sets, flex your feet at the top for me now. Now keep them flexed. So you can see how here she flexes them now, and now that power actually comes a little bit more intense, right? There's a lot more explosiveness there. So we're gonna start with the feet relaxed so that we can pre-exhaust or get the most out of the hamstrings. Once they start fatiguing, we can flex the feet, and then we can get a little bit more out of them. One more, all right. Beautiful. Burger King, you can't have it your way. Tell me you got that sound on camera. Yep. Come on. She still ain't done. So, next question for Jess. What have you learned about yourself the most since you kind of entered into like bodybuilding, competing, this entire industry, coaching? She's been turned into quite the successful businesswoman and coach here herself. We'll link all of her stuff down below for you guys to check her out. Wow.
The thing that I've learned the most about myself is that I'm my own worst enemy when it comes to everything that I want to do. I always it's really easy to tell yourself that you can't do it. For me, a really big obstacle was definitely my age, since I am very young. I always told myself I can't do it because I'm too young. I can't do it because no one else around me is doing it. I can't do it, whatever. And something that Nick actually taught me was that sometimes you just have to burn your ships. And the only way to make it happen is if it's the only option to make it happen. And I think that's the thing that I've learned about myself is that I'm capable of more than I think that I am. And that the key to that is just going out and doing it. You know, not hesitating.
Now something to really throw in if you've got a partner that is just gonna absolutely make these impossible for you to accomplish after this is if you just do this right here. See? 2 more. 2 more, I'll help you. Yep. I don't know if you guys can hear her muffled screams into the bench, but they're there. Come on. Last one. Oh, I can feel the glutes squeezing on my forearms. Glutes are like blank, blank, blank.
Why is that?
So a lot of times, what's happening here is we're getting a little bit of momentum from the hip, right? The hips are kind of shooting up, and it is giving us just that little bit of extra pull into the hamstrings. So by loading those down and locking them in position, right? It's kind of like if I were to do a dumbbell curl, right? I can kind of swing back like this a little bit and get a little bit more momentum from the shoulder joints. Let's just pretend this is my hip and this is my hamstring, right? So if I can get a little bit more motion in here, right, usually I can lift a little bit more weight. Whereas if I lock this into place with, say, a preacher curl, right, now the only mechanical thing that can lift is my bicep, or the hamstring in this case, you're gonna get a lot more emphasis on just the muscle. So if you've got a partner, have them push down into your glutes, make it a little bit harder.
What's next? That's up to him.
What do you think is next? She's been doing my programming for a long time.
It's either gonna be, I don't know. I want to say hip thrust, but I feel like you wouldn't do that.
Why not? Why don't you think I would do that to you? No.
Is it some other?
No.
Hack spots. Like this?
I didn't even know what I was doing next. I just wanted to see what was going to scare her the most. So I'm going to do hip thrusters because I said it first.
Oh my god. My god, yes.
I said I didn't even know what we were doing next, but I just wanted to see which one you would say first because that's me just scared of it the most.
I was hoping we would do leg press. I was so ready for that.
Okay, so this one's gonna be fun. I'm just kidding. We were doing hip thrusters the whole time. I just didn't want her to snag me like that on camera. Side here. I'm actually gonna have her bring her feet a little closer down, because if you guys can see, this gap here is a little diagonal. So bring your feet back a little bit. A little bit more. Right there. Now we got that 90 degrees. So anytime, right, keep going. Anytime the calves are further this way, more than likely we're gonna put more emphasis on the hamstrings and less on the glutes. Whereas if the feet are too close, you got that knee flexion, the knees are gonna be in a pretty bad spot. You're just probably still not gonna feel it that much in the glutes. So for me, I prefer this angle to be a nice 90 degree or close to it at the bottom. It's not gonna be perfect on this one because this stance is angled a little bit more, but that's the perfect foot positioning for us right now. We've got 2 all-out sets of 15 here. This is very heavy for Jess, especially after everything we just went through. So this is gonna be a very, very demanding set. So parameters we're gonna put around this is either 15 reps or failure, whichever comes first.
So 16.
Exactly. 15's our goal here. Notice her chin staying tucked. Body here is the board. Only thing moving is her hips. She's not going like this with it, like a seal. Everything here is locked in place. Everything down there is locked into place. Hips are moving the weight. Come on. Push, come on, don't you dare quit on me. On that last rep.
That was 16.
God. 15, because I pulled it up.
15 and a half. I'll take half.
Last time when we got that second place, there was a little bit more up top in the upper body, but the hamstrings were more developed on the other girl. Jess has been struggling with those, but not this off season. Those hammies are fierce. Those hammies are full-blown Sammies.
It's like Christmas dinner.
Christmas dinner right on the back of my leg. Keep it tight, let's go. Come on. 7. Drive them through. There it is. Don't lose power. Come on. 3 more. 1 more. Up. Come on. All the way. All the way. Get it up. Good. Not great. Could be better.
I swear I thought you guys were done already because she was dying.
One.
So we're finishing off here just with an intensifier, I guess you could call this. It's not really like a periodized set or anything like that. She's just doing 1 set of 50. So we're gonna do 1 set of 50 lunges. So this is 50 each leg. So we count that as 100 steps total, right? Every time you do left, right, that's 1. So she's gonna grab 10-pound dumbbells, and our goal here, down and back on the turf, our goal here is just gonna be to keep in constant motion as long as we can. If she has to take a break, obviously we will. Body can only go so far, but if she can pull through it, then we're gonna pull through it, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
Rest is for the week. Last set, best set.
I was holding a microphone, but that's okay. We can also pound it. Okay. All right, Miss Jess, the people want to know, what do you see as the main difference between somebody who's successful as a competitor and not?
Oh, I actually love this question. I think people who train just to do a bikini competition are the ones who are not going to be successful. Like, if there was no such thing as bikini competitions or anything like that, like, I would still be training exactly the way I am. Because I don't train to win bikini competitions. I train to win the day. And when you do that over and over and over again, that's how you're going to add up to win that competition.
That's a good one.
The great question I always ask a lot of people is, if you couldn't post about it on Instagram, would you still do it? 99% of the bullshit you see on Instagram probably wouldn't be there, right? Because people need that clout. People need the fame. They need to be loud. They need to make noise. But lions hunt in silence, baby.
Yeah, and you have to understand that, like, no one cares. Like, literally no one cares, and you could either take that and you could just go about your day and be like, hell yeah, no one cares. I'm gonna do everything that I can and I don't give a crap what everyone says. Or you can take that and you can say everybody, like no one cares, so why would I do that because no one's gonna see my success, but that success comes from within, not from everybody else.
Absolutely. I just did a podcast on this. Somebody asked me what my number one advice would be to personal trainers, online coaches starting off, and essentially it was exactly that: is don't get caught up in trying to be somebody or not, be super loud, get a lot of clout, like, you know, make noise just to get attention, because it might look appealing at first, but at the end of the day, everybody will eventually say that you're just kind of do that to get noise, right? Instead of like doing it because deep down that's what you feel like you're supposed to be doing. And if your goal, like my goal is to add value to people, period. And that creativity and that genius for me has come out in the form of bodybuilding coaching and life coaching. So that's where I focus. And I mean, I'm finally starting to do content again because I'm terrible at it, right? But if I wasn't on Instagram, I would still be right here with Jess doing exactly that. So that's what you need to ask yourself. Let's do it. So one thing I want you guys to notice here as well is kind of the same principle as the Bulgarian split squats. Her front knee is not fighting for real estate to push forward in front of her toes. We're keeping everything very aligned up and down. She's stretching that glute. And then if you look at her back hand when she's lunging, that back hand is coming in front every time. Keeping the dumbbell nice and close. This is gonna act as a little bit of almost think of it as you're doing a deadlift, the dumbbell deadlift on that side of your hip. It's gonna put a lot more emphasis. It's gonna feel better mechanically on your hips and give you a little bit more tension on that posterior chain than it would on your quad. Incorporation time to the system.
And I've been rolling out the base tonight and still getting dirty. We catch you up, we get left at the light, we strictly on murder. I fell asleep smoking that doja, woke up smoking on perk. Pulled up on 3 years, about 5 o'clock, now it's 7:30. Getting it in, I'm all around the clock, I stay in the hurry.
Like Jess said, if the cameras weren't on, would you finish this set? Most of you wouldn't. You get tested with your integrity every freaking day, man. You choose this battle, so you better choose to win it every single time. If you lose the battle of integrity that you choose to enter into, you ain't gonna get anywhere in life. Come on. Finish it. I thought she was done, she ain't done. Every last ounce of your integrity is squeezed out right now. Come on. I don't care if I see drool, snot, puke, anything at this time. Come on. Finish it.
Come on.
The burn and the pain is just consistent at this point. There's not, that's what you know. Come on, Jess. You're almost there, come on. Come on. Come on. She's still controlling every single rep. There's no slop. She's still going. She's still going. Doesn't matter. Instead of quitting, she dropped the dumbbell, she kept going.
Rappers nowadays love to talk about guns, but me, I tote that dagger and I'll slice some shit for fun. I'm bored and got the urge to rip open the nigga tongue. So when I pull up, I suggest you niggas run. Yup, ayy, yup. Burger man, burger down. Shorty is a burger fan. Selling
her buns, well, I guess that she's a burger stand. Get it? I said I guess that she's a burger stand.
We'll just let the blood wiggle out of those puppies.
Two knife, red knife, blue knife, run up on